Hi, everyone, and happy Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and travelprofessionalnews.com, I want to welcome all of you to today's webinar and thank you for taking time out of your day to be here with us today. Our host for this webinar is Emerald Waterways, and our speaker is Randy Goodrich. Randy's topic is Earn a Free Emerald Waterways Cruise, and I know we're all interested in finding out how we can do that. Randy Goodrich does travel agent training for both sister cruise lines, Scenic Cruises and Emerald Waterways, and is also a business development manager in several states. As always, we really appreciate the support we get from Scenic and Emerald. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but we are happy to take your questions. You can type in your questions at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. At the end of Randy's presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Randy so he can give us all this wonderful information about Emerald Waterways and how we can earn a free cruise. Welcome, Randy.
Thank you very much, and thank you, agents, for taking some time out to learn more about Emerald and especially about how to earn a free cruise for yourself and a companion. So we're going to start off by talking about what we now brand ourselves the Scenic Group, because we've been adding more and more products, and so it's kind of a group of products. And I'll explain a little bit about that, some of the special features of Emerald, and then how you can earn that free cruise. So one of the first things that's unique with the Scenic Group is that we've announced this last year the River Cruise Guarantee. So this is the first of its kind. It's an insurance policy that we have purchased and we include in the price of the cruise for both Scenic and Emerald. And it's designed to give your clients some peace of mind should an unforeseen situation happen, such as high water, low water, mechanical breakdown of locks, bridges, ships, strikes, things like that were not foreseen by us or by them or anyone for that matter, but does disrupt their trip from what they purchased. So they're not going to be able to really be able to see and visit all the destinations because of the disruption. We're going to reimburse them cash on a pro rata share for what they missed. So it's quite unique, but we think it gives people more peace of mind because some of these occurrences are getting a lot of press, and it does come up, I know, in some of your conversations. So hopefully that'll help you sell both of our cruise lines. So one of the things we did this last year and the year before last is we built a ship for Scenic for the Douro River. That was specific for that. And this year we built one for Emerald Waterways. So we have two of the only ships that have been built by a company specifically for the Douro River. Most of the other river cruise ship lines lease their ships from a local company. So they can't do a lot of customization. They don't have a lot of flexibility on the itinerary. So make sure when you're looking at that for the Douro to take a look at those differences. We've also added a deposit protection plan. So for $125 per person, our deposit to hold a sailing at either Scenic or Emerald is $500 per person, non-refundable deposit. So if they should take the insurance policy out, so they put $1,000 down for a couple, they would pay $250, and then they can change that later and book the trip within a 3-year period of time. So this just gives people, especially some of those people like lawyers, doctors, real estate agents that have don't have 100% control over their time off, some comfort that they won't lose the full deposit and have some flexibility. We've also been getting quite a few awards this last year. But with Emerald in particular, they first year out, this is only their 4th season, and in the first season they got the best new river ship design award from Cruise Critic, and for the last 2 years, 15 and 16, they got the best value in all of river cruising. So Emerald Waterways is really about value. Scenic is more about luxury, 5-star, and most all-inclusive with some very special features. So it did get the best river cruise shore excursion program because of our GPS units, our multiple excursions, things like that. So members of ASTA, CLIA, NACTA, USTOA. So that's kind of the scenic group in general. More specifically going into Emerald, we now have quite an array of different itineraries. We have 7 ships now, with a special ship, like I mentioned, in the Douro, and also a special ship, the Liberté, on the Rhone River. And then we added another ship for the Rhine-Main-Danube itineraries. The river ships, they all look like this. The ones in the Rhine-Main-Danube are 443 feet long, 40 feet wide, 48 feet wide. That's the maximum you can have to make it through the locks. One of the unique features here, there's 182 passengers max on board these ships. The one in the Rhone, the one in the Douro are smaller. They take fewer passengers, down to like 116. So need to pay attention to that. But for this capacity, Emerald is really out there to compete with some of the mainstream, better known brands, 4-star plus categories. But it has more features to it, and it has some very special features. But we have 182 guests on this size ship, where some of the competition is up to 200 passengers. So that makes a difference in how large the rooms are, and also some of the public areas. So you can see the structure in the back of the ship there. That looks kind of unique. That's actually a swimming pool / theater pub area. I'll show you that a little bit later, how that works. So I mentioned we have a whole fleet of ships, the Liberté on the France this year, the Radiance on the Douro, the Destiny, a new one on the Rhine-Main-Danube. We have the Sun and the Dawn, and the Star in the Sky. So the oldest ship we have, the Star in the Sky, are 3 years old. So the newest fleet out there, and it's all about an exceptional value with a lot of inclusiveness, more so than a lot of the competition. So we include all airport transfers to and from the ship, whether you purchase our air or not. All meals, of course, on board with 2 dining areas. Complimentary wine, beer, and soft drinks to accompany lunch and dinner. We have some drink packages, and those are very inexpensive, quite frankly, and sometimes we'll be running a special that will actually include the drink packages as well. It's a nice selection of wine and beer compared to some of the lines out there that just provide some kind of red and some kind of white. We have a selection of different reds and whites. Tea and coffee, of course, anytime. Bottled water is in your cabin and refrigerator. Shore excursion, pretty much every day except maybe when we're embarking and disembarking, is included. The bicycles on board. We have, of course, the whisper box, the hearing device for the tours. And then we have some Emerald Plus. So when you look at the brochure, it's going to show you each day the tour that is included, and then once or twice a week an Emerald Plus, which is an extra tour that quite often the competition would charge for. We include it. We also have Emerald Active. We started this year, and we're adding more for 2018, or biking, hiking, that type of activity. For cruise guarantee, deposit protection plan we talked about. And if they pay for 2018 sailings by the end of October of this year, they'll save up to $800 per couple. So the experience on board, the ships are very modern looking, kind of very trendy design, very light, very open, lots of chrome, lots of mirrors, as you can see here, windows. The whole idea is to keep it really as bright and light and cheerful as possible. You can see some more pictures here in the mezzanine area. This is the Horizon Lounge, or main lounge, lots of sitting areas, couches. Our clientele, that comes up as a question quite often. So the clientele for Emerald, the Scenic Group is based out of Australia. We started in business 31 years ago. Glenn Moroney, who still owns and runs the company, started the business Local Tours in Australia after he was out of college, and has succeeded quite well. expanding that business worldwide. So we have a worldwide clientele on board the ships. They can mostly you'll find it from Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain, and also North America. So these arrangements here in the lounge and areas, they give you the opportunity, your clients the opportunity to actually interact quite well with people from other parts of the world, something we don't often get to do here. So here we are, interacting at the bar. Now these pictures, a lot of them have models like this. These guys are, quite frankly, a little dressier than you'd find normally. We don't really have a dress policy. There are some special events and whatnot. People might want to get a little dressed up, but it's a pretty casual atmosphere. Here's the pool area. So beautiful during the day. It has a retractable roof on nice days. All the windows are you can see out of. On the far right, you can't quite see it. There's a bar area that's got a 24-hour coffee service there and tea service, as well as a bar during the more active times. So you can do a little laps in this pool, but it's a very serene area, almost like a meditation room. Very, very nice. Well, in the evening, at about 4:30 in the afternoon or so, they close the room up, they bring the roof back, they put the blinds down, push a button, and the bottom of the pool will back up again. That bottom of that pool, so you can see, looks like decking, actually raises to the top. So we have one level deck. The water goes under. It takes 20 minutes or so for that to happen. And you have this beautiful area, which in this case is a theater room. So we usually have movies 2 or 3 times a week. We'll have a pub night. We could have a group night if you have a group on board. Multi-purpose room. Very, very, very nice. Very innovative. On the Radiance, on the Douro River, we don't have that pool area. The boat's smaller. So we have this Serenity pool that I think is quite nice on the deck. It's kind of a warm area there in Portugal. The restaurant itself, so we've got this beautiful Reflections restaurant. You see how light it is and cheerful. Breakfast is buffet style. You've got everything in the center there. Of the upper left picture, you can see the buffet area there. That's just loaded with all kinds of different food for both breakfast and for lunches. Dinners a la carte, beautiful servings like this. This is the terrace. This is up by the lounge area in the front, the bow of the ship. You've got an indoor area there where people can sit, and also outdoor. This is breakfast, and kind of a lighter breakfast in the morning and light lunch for people who don't want to be tempted too much by the buffet. Here's the upper deck. That's, of course, a picture of the Radiance in the Douro with the Serenity pool. Not all the ships have that. The others have the pool in the back. We'll often have, when the weather's nice, in certain locations, we have barbecue, al fresco type dining up on the deck, which is certainly fun. I did that recently in Belgrade. It was fabulous. What a night. The wellness and spa area. So people want to work out a little bit more, get quite a good workout on these river cruises, but if they want more, or if they want a massage, hairstyle, things like that, those are available. So this is an example of Emerald Plus. So for instance, in Danube, going through the Waha Valley, you get a guided tour of the Mount Abbey, which some of the other lines actually charge for that. Glass blowing demonstration in Germany. Slovakian family, go visit and have afternoon tea and have a chance to talk to them. So the visit to the Kukenhof Gardens, which are fabulous in the springtime. So some different things that could be charged for by other companies. We would include 1 or 2 of those per week without any additional charge. Some of the active examples of active, Emerald Active, you've got biking tours, you've got a nature walk through the wood area or climbing up to a castle, guided biking trips, Melk to Dernstein, that's 23 miles, absolutely gorgeous, with a picnic lunch. So yoga, things like that. So for those younger customers, perhaps not necessarily younger, but we are starting to see a trend towards a little bit younger, more 40-year-olds, whereas the average age typically is 55 plus. But they're starting to come on board. I think between the active and the pool area, it is attracting some of those people. Entertainment, we have a full-time entertainer on board the ship who entertains, during lunches and in the evening, just about any kind of genre people want to hear. And then we bring on these local characters like this, little Bavarian band. So it depends where we are. We'll do that once or twice a week, sometimes even more. I was on the Liberté in May, the new ship on the Rhone, and I think we had 3 different nights we brought in local entertainment. Very nice. Discover more are optional excursions. These are ones that you pay for. I can tell you I've been quite surprised, having cruised quite a bit, at how reasonable the cost is for these. But like going up to Salzburg, that's a picture of Chesney Krumlov there in the Czech Republic. Some of these things that people, I've seen the fees for these trips to be pretty extensive, whereas I think we make it quite affordable. Went to Cluny Abbey in Mekong. That's absolutely gorgeous. Let's talk about the accommodations a little bit. This is the one owner's bedroom suite. This is the biggest suite on board. There's just a few of these, just 4 of them actually, on board the ship. So you have a separate area of bedroom that can be partitioned off, and a beautiful balcony, walk-in closet, room service is available. You get invited to the captain's table, laundry service. The outdoor balcony is lovely. Coffee machine in the house, laundry, robe, slippers, mini bar, stocked each day with whatever they want, and an iPad. So this is for you people that really want the extra room and the extra services. You even get a pillow menu. The Grand Balcony Suite is our second highest category. It is a full outdoor balcony, so pay attention to how this looks. We've got a balcony, we've got a door that can close out to the balcony. You have our outer windows like we have on Scenic as well, where you can raise and lower that panel if it's getting chilly out or whatever. You got the Parliament building in Budapest to look at. That's quite nice. So these are very, very nice. There's 8 of these typically on board. Most of the ships, not all of them. The smaller ships don't have as many, like on the Doral, and I think there's a few less on the Rhone River. The outdoor balcony, the coffee machine, good-sized bathroom, room service available, captain's table, laundry service for each day, complimentary robes, slippers, and mini bar. So very nice. Now this is the typical cabin. So you'll see there it looks like a balcony, but it really is not. It's we call it an indoor balcony because there's not really a door that separates that sitting area out by the window. Excuse me. So it's an indoor balcony. It actually makes it just part of the room. It makes the room feel a lot bigger. But again, the window out there, the panel, that's 2 panels. It goes up and down with the push of a button. So if it's nice out and they want fresh air, or they want to lean out to take a picture, whatever, they can do that. Otherwise, they can keep it closed or partially open. There's 60 of these. This is a predominant suite on board the Emerald ships. They're 180 square feet, which is good size compared to some of the competition. The drop-down window I mentioned. The mini bar is not complimentary, but there is one in suite. Of course, you get water every day, you get Wi-Fi throughout the ship, infotainment system within the TV set up there, climate control, all that good stuff. These is the Emerald Stateroom. These are on the first deck. These are the smallest category, and they're 160 square feet, which again is larger than most, but they are very, very nice. But they're too low to have any kind of a balcony or large window area. So they have a nice window that brings in plenty of light. 153 to 170, depends on the ship. There's some smaller, there's 2 single cabins down here that are small, kind of almost a little smaller than this. So what they do is take the single bed and make it lengthwise instead of across. Riviera deck, window. 18 of these on most of the ships, 2 singles. There is a mini bar in there, not included in the price, but, and water, Wi-Fi, of course, entertainment system, climate control, ropes. So where we sail, Danube, the Rhine, the Main. Those are one of the most popular. Danube is probably the most popular river for all the river cruise companies. Has the most ships on it, and then you've got the Rhine River, probably second most popular. The Main, which connects the Rhine and the Danube, along with the canals. So you've got that trip where you can go all the way across Europe. When you're going up the Rhine, you can actually have a side trip into the Moselle, beautiful Moselle River Valley. Then in France, you have the Rhone and the Saône. That's all one cruise. You get Lyon, it splits out. You go up the Saône River as the Rhone gets too shallow to navigate. And then in Portugal, the Douro, and then we have a charter in Mekong. We also have a charter in Russia. So Danube Delights, that's the typical 8-day. Nuremberg to Budapest is our schedule. That's the most popular. You got add Prague to that, 3-night stay in Prague with all the transfers, etc. 8-day Rhine trip. There'll be a little bit different Danube schedule, Passau to Budapest. And the highlights of the Netherlands and the beauty of Belgium. And in 2018, instead of doing this just in the spring for the Keukenhof Gardens Tulip Festival, we'll do this a couple other times during the year too. The Moselle combined with the Rhine and the Main River from Trier to Nuremberg. That's an interesting itinerary. Splendid Europe, that's the one that goes all the way across from Amsterdam to Budapest. Eastern Europe, Budapest to Bucharest, the one I just did in May. And this year we added this the Rhone River, Lyon and Arles, and the Douro River. And we added some combinations where you combine the Rhine and the Rhone so that they can come down the Rhine, we'll then transfer them over to Lyon and they get on the ship and do the Rhone River. Or they can do the same thing and do Douro and we'll fly them over to Lyon and they'll do the Rhone. So a couple interesting itineraries there. For 18, we're going to be at a new Amsterdam to Frankfurt itinerary, a little bit different. Frankfurt to Basel. So Amsterdam to Frankfurt is the upper part of the Rhine. Frankfurt to Basel is going to be the southern part of the Rhine. And then Charms of Holland, that's the one we're adding some different times during the year, a round trip Amsterdam itinerary. Show you some beautiful pictures there. That's the Chain Bridge in Budapest. That's Dürnstein with the blue chapel there. And that's the Bratislava, I believe, right there in the lower right. And I would say that's probably Nuremberg there on the left, lower left. Splendid Europe, that's going all the way across Europe. Lots to see in that one. The Netherlands. Beautiful Rhine River. So you can see the itinerary itself. What it includes is 3 Emerald Active excursions, bike trips, etc. 3 Emerald Plus included on this particular trip. So that's a lot of value there when you start comparing apples to apples. Majestic Rhine, a little bit different. You're going from Frankfurt, then you actually go up to Koblenz, and that's the castle area between Koblenz and Rudesheim, where there's so many castles to see in a 4 or 5 hour cruise, all the way down to Basel, Switzerland. 1 Emerald Plus, 2 Emerald Active. So this is the trip for Holland, round trip Amsterdam that we're going to offer other times of the year, not just in the springtime. Southern France, wonderful, beautiful ship, 138 passengers. Yeah, we have a celebrity chef that comes on board. I believe he came on board out of in the Provence area, and did a meal for us. It was quite interesting. 5 Emerald Active. options there and a couple Emerald Plus included. The Douro, 112 passenger ship on the Radiance, 6 Emerald Plus and 5 Emerald Active. So lots of stuff going on there. Vietnam, Cambodia, Mekong River. So there's we charter a lovely ship, Mekong Navigator, and this sells quite quickly. So we've got people thinking the Mekong trip down to Southeast Asia for some of those customers who are typically will go to the Caribbean or to Mexico or Hawaii to warm up in the wintertime if they live in the north. This is a good option for them now if they want to do something different and get a little culture along with it. That's a wonderful time of the year to go down to Southeast Asia, being January, February, March, even April. So it's getting a little warm after that. So you can see you can have and not just a cruise, but you can extend the trip to Halong Bay and then come down to Ho Chi Minh City and then take the river cruise up and to Kampong Cham and then you go to Siem Reap for 2 days. So group-wise, it's easy to get a group because you only have to have 9 or more. The 10th person goes free, so 5 cabins essentially. If you book 5 cabins, you get 1 tour conductor credit. We're offering some special promotions right now for groups, additional discounts, things like that. And then you also have amenity points where you can increase your commission, give your customers onboard credits. Each cruise has a different set of points, so work with your BDM. I'll have a list at the end of this presentation of the local BDMs. Work with them to see what you can get done depending on the itinerary and the date. We do have the agent portal. The agent portal is you go to emeraldwaterways.com. Agent portal will be in the upper left. Above that, you see the picture there right above the Emerald logo is the agent portal. You click on that. That has our express book booking engine and quote engine, which is a spectacular program for finding instant availability. I'll show you that in a second. Emerald Specialist course, you get a $100 booking bonus on your first booking after you pass the course. So I recommend that you take that first. So you can come out way ahead here. You can book 3 Emeralds. You're going to get the $100 booking bonus, and then you're going to get, if you book 3 of them by the end of the year, you're going to earn your free cruise for next year. So we do have the comparison chart of all the river cruise companies provided by rivercruiseadvisor.com. That's in there. You can order brochures here, look at videos, etc. Copy those, send them to your customer, whatever. So here's a screen that I did yesterday. So this is the Nuremberg to Budapest trip. So it's simple. Once you go into ExpressBook, you're going to need a username and password. So you get that from your host agency or your agency. And once you go in there, you just put in the tour code, which in this case is EWNB, Emerald Waterways, Nuremberg, Budapest. So it's not too complicated to figure out. It shows up as the bottom part of that first, and all one-liners for every saillant we have that matches your search, but has at least 1 cabin available. And then you hit the plus sign there, and it expands like the top one. So you can actually see which categories are still available. From this, you can go in and create a quote, or you can create a booking. Your customers can have 2 days to make the deposit, $500 non-refundable per person. They can also take that deposit guarantee insurance out at that point in time if they're not 100% sure that that's the right date for them. So very simple program. Current promotions, we have Fly Free to France in 2018. That's got to be booked by the end of August for your customers. And that also includes a buy one, get one free for the extensions into Paris or Nice, so basically 50% off. We have a pay in full by October 31st for additional savings. And then this came out this week, Fly Free to Europe on these other itineraries, not just France. So you've got the charms of Holland and Belgium, you've got Classic Rhine, you've got the Classic Rhine and Lucerne, the Majestic Rhine, Classic Rhine and Berlin, and Wonders to Lower Rhine. So these need to be booked by September 30th. So here's some incentives to help you get that 3. So if you sell 3 2018 cruises on Emerald Waterway between July 1st and December 31st of this year, you're going to earn a free vacation, free cruise for you and a companion on Emerald Waterway. So why not? Give it a try. So all you have to do is make sure you have our current brochure. If you don't, you can order those on Agent Portal or contact your BDM and get those brochures and flyers out to your customers. We're happy to help you any way we can. We want you to take our cruise, and we also want to get the booking. So we both win. This is a list of the BDMs in the marketplace. So for those of you in the Southeast, Linda was handling just Emerald. Now she's handling both Emerald and Scenic. Richard Hickey, who handled Scenic, is now our key national account manager. So he's still around, but focused on a few different things. In the South, Texas, thereabouts, that's Carolyn. In the Southwest, which would be Southern California and Arizona, you got Mark Jeanette. Midwest, Tom Van Dorn. Pacific Northwest, and other places where right now, Colorado, etc., Northern California. You've got me, and then in the Northeast, Scott Moore just joined us here about a month ago. So then other contact information is there. This is all for the U.S. marketplace. This presentation is really designed for the U.S. agents. If you happen to be joining us from Canada, we appreciate your interest and thank you. But some of the promotions and other features that you heard today are not necessarily available in Canada. They have their own set of promotions. So you need to contact the Canadian office, find out, or your Canadian BDM, find out what that is. So with that, I'll take some questions and hopefully give you some good answers.
Great. Thank you so much, Randy. As always, that was fantastic. We do have several questions, so let's get right to them. And I want to tell our agents that if we don't get to your question, or if you think of something after this webinar is over, do jot down the contact information for your BDM, and you can always contact him or her with all of your questions. Randy, a couple of our agents are a little bit confused about the deposit and the insurance for the deposit. Can you go over that again?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So this just came out here about a month ago. So again, if you have a customer who would like to book, but is a little concerned about the non-refundable deposit, and of course you can buy a travel insurance policy for them and just cover the deposit at that point, and then add the other coverages later as they pay more, the final payment, etc. But if you don't want to do that, then for $125 per person, it just gives them the ability, if they have to change between now and the final payment, instead of losing that $1,000, they pay $250, and they can then within I believe it's 3-year period of time, they can rebook without any penalty and transfer that deposit over to the new booking.
Okay, excellent. Is there smoking allowed inside or outside these beautiful boats?
The only smoking area is on the top deck, the outside deck in the very back of the ship, so it doesn't come back. But there's an area back there. You can meet some of the crew members back there, but that's the only area where smoking is allowed.
Are there elevators on the ship or handicap accessible rooms, cabins?
There are elevators on the ship, yes. It covers all 3 decks on the Emerald ship. And as far as handicap accessibility, you typically would want to get one of the bigger cabins, the Grand Balcony Suite, something like that, because it's just the Grand Balcony Suite and the owner suites tend to be at the front of the first cabins you come to. So it makes it a little bit easier. They're wider. They have more room for wheelchairs, walkers, scooters, things like that. On board the ship, we're going to help the people as much as we possibly can. I've been on board many of the sailings where we've had people that required wheelchairs or walkers, even some scooters. Getting on and off the ship, that's another story. That's can be very complicated if they can't walk at all. The gangplanks are very narrow. They won't take the wheelchairs and scooters, be too dangerous. So they need to be able to walk a little bit. Our staff will try to help, but our staff is typically quite busy at that point in time when we're docking and whatnot. Uh, it's just a bit of a challenge, and as a professional consultant, you need to make sure your customers are aware of that. Getting in and out of the buses, cobblestone streets, there's all these little issues that once they get off the boat, they're going to be challenged by.
Okay. Does the Wi-Fi reach into all the cabins on the decks?
Yeah, the best Wi-Fi is back actually by the pool that I've found. That seems must be where the signal comes in. But I've even been down in the real small cabins down in the bottom and been able to get my Wi-Fi and get my emails and whatnot. But there's always areas just like here along the rivers from the kind of remote places where maybe the Wi-Fi is not what it should be. I know when I was down in Romania and Bulgaria, their Wi-Fi signals weren't the best. So.
Okay. Can passengers buy alcohol when they're out and about, wine or spirits or whatnot, and bring it back onto the boat?
Yeah, we don't really have a rule against that.
Okay, that's good news for a lot of people here. What do you recommend, or is there a specified minimum age to travel on Emerald?
Minimum is 12 years old. It's a challenge, just like it is with for people that are handicapped. A little bit of a challenge for kids, unless the kid is really interested in history and churches and things like that. Of course, they all like castles, but there's a lot of churches to visit. Things now with Emerald, it's at least if they get bored, they can hang out at the pool and have a good time. But it's really more of an adult uh, type of an experience, especially adults that really have a lot of interest in learning more about the history, in this case, the history of Europe. But that's a kind of a generalization. So.
And along that same line of questioning, are there cabins that can hold more than two people?
No, both Scenic and Emerald right now, we except for the new Eclipse, we only have double occupancy, single or double.
Okay. Is it a rare occurrence or a common occurrence for water levels to be high enough or low enough to affect one of the cruises?
Well, it happens. It seems to happen every year. Your high water is going to be in the spring. Your low water is going to be later in the year as the snow melt goes away. And it doesn't always happen, but there are challenges. And to date, we've never had to cancel a cruise, and very seldom is there a major disruption. And we always have a workaround. Where we can have ships coming up and down the river. We can do ship swaps. People swap to the other ship, same cabin. And we have buses that can help people get around better. So we usually make a pretty good do about it, so they do get a chance to see everything that they were expecting to see. But it's just nature.
Okay. Back to the rooms on the various boats. Are any of them connecting cabins?
No.
Okay. And if somebody earns a cruise, a tour conductor cabin, can they use that for single occupancy and still not have to pay anything?
Good question. I think what you want to do is contact your BDM and request that. Earlier you can do it, the better. Typically, the single supplement program on Scenic, they've got one that's pretty established where there's no single early and late in the year and a 50% single supplement. But those are all capacity control. There's only X number per cruise, depending how popular that cruise is. Emerald doesn't really have a set policy at this point, so it would be kind of an exception, but certainly ask. I mean, we're giving you a double cabin, quite frankly, and if there's one of you in it, that's fine too.
Okay, great. What are the deposit requirements for a group?
For a group, there's no deposit. What you do is you contact the BDM. with your interest, we'll send you a form that you complete some basic information. We'll get that to our group department. They will produce a contract, proposal. Once accepted, then we will hold that number of cabins, say 10 cabins, whatever it might be. Not specific types of cabins, just space on that ship. It would be set dates, so we'll monitor how well you're doing at filling those cabins, and if the ship starts filling up, then we'll need to have a discussion. But to hold an actual cabin, that's when the deposit is due. And again, it's a $500 deposit per person to hold an exact cabin. So cabin 234 or whatever it is, as long as that person, once they pay the deposit.
Okay, great. If our clients buy airfare through Emerald, does Emerald offer any kind of discounted business class air?
Yeah, we have contracts now. This is as about a year ago with the major alliances, SkyTeam, Star Alliance, etc. And so we can do, when we include free air or discounted air coach, there's the opportunity to upgrade to economy comfort, coach plus, whatever the airline calls it, and also business class. Pretty reasonable fare rates.
Can U.S. Agents book clients who are not U.S. citizens or residents, or do they have to book just U.S. residents?
Well, that's a good question. As many of you know, that's always an issue with most of the cruise lines, especially today with a lot of agencies doing internet marketing to people all over the world. But each one of our markets has their own pricing, their own promotions, things like that. So the answer to your question, the short answer is yes, but. And so the but part is you need to honor whatever the local promotion is. We can't be undercutting or overcharging, stuff like that. So we got to keep each marketplace, their structure for how they're promoting the products in sync with, so all the agencies in that marketplace don't feel like you're undercutting them. You wouldn't want that to happen to you either. So it's kind of a sensitive area, but we'll work with you on it.
Okay, and this is a little bit complicated. Can Canadian agents book Canadian clients but have them fly out of the U.S. instead of out of Canada and take advantage of the free air?
Again, it's the same type of deal. If it's a Canadian agency, Canadian client, we're going to want you to honor the Canadian, whatever the Canadian program is up there, whatever their specials, if they're doing free air or not, I'm not sure. But we're just kind of got to keep that within each territory. But again, call your BDM. Let us go to bat for you. Let us try to figure out the best way to do it.
Okay.
That's what we spend a lot of our time doing.
Great. Are there travel agent rates available?
Yes. Again, contact the BDM. They're kind of restrictive as far as when you can actually travel. Obviously, the more you're working with your BDM and with Emerald Waterways and Scenic, the more you're booking, the more likely we'll try to get you on board. People that just want to have a fam trip for the sake of having a fam trip are going to have a little bit tougher time. Probably won't be able to get a confirmation till 30 days prior to departure.
Okay, I think we.
That said, we do want to get you on board. It certainly does work. I guided a group on the Liberté, just 12 agents in May, and half of those agents already have booked a group of their own. So we know it's successful once we get agents on that are serious about trying to sell the product.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Our last question, and again, if we didn't get to your question, because they keep coming in, if we didn't get to yours, or if you think of something later, please do contact your BDM, and Randy has the list of BDMs up on the screen for you right now. The included shore excursions in each stop, is there only one, or are they rated as far as gentle tours, fast tours, that kind of thing?
There's typically one per day. It's typically in the morning, unless it's an all-day excursion like to Salzburg or something. Um, what we really usually do is split the people up and tell them if you are faster, it involves a lot of walking. If you're a faster walker or biking, faster biker, we'll put them in one bus, and we'll put the other people slower that want to go more leisurely paced. So we do try to split that up.
Okay, so it's sort of a self-selecting group. You join the one that
Yeah, they choose on their own with their own concept of how fast they want to move and how complicated. We'll let them know that every night at about 5:30 or 6 o'clock, there's a port talk. The cruise director will go through and explain the next day's activities, how difficult they are, and if it involves a lot of climbing up mountains and stairs and stuff like that, then people can then consider going into the slower paced group. It might not include everything, but they'll see most everything.
Fantastic. Well, Randy, this has been wonderful. Again, our host today has been Emerald Waterways, and our speaker has been Randy Goodrich, Business Development Manager and Travel Agent Trainer for Scenic and Emerald Waterways. Randy, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. It's important to know the differences. Again, I do suggest you go to rivercruiseadvisor.com to the comparison chart there and download that if you haven't already done so. Compares all the river cruise companies by an independent third party. You'll find that Emerald Waterways is in fact the best value when you compare apples to apples. So just remember that they include the tips, gratuities, extra shore excursions, just little tweaks here and there that can mean a lot both monetarily and from an experience standpoint when you compare it to some of the competition.
Good advice. And I will also say thank you to our travel agents on this call. We appreciate your being here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks again, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.